that they have done here. I may do that from time to time, so just pay close attention to that. Okay, so you're buying a car here, and it's a private sale, so right away you're thinking, I need the book value. Okay, and you're agreeing to buy that, purchase it for $9,500. In order to pass safety, you need a bunch of stuff, right? So I'm going to use a different color for that. Let's see here. Two headlights for at 60 each. 4 new brakes that are 150 each. You need a new fuel pump, right? The labor to do the repairs takes 2 hours, $65 per hour. That's actually a pretty good deal. Nowadays, I think the shop rates are close to $100 an hour or more. Okay. Another thing I want to say here, sometimes this is like 2.5, 2 3/4. And some students have told me, Mr. Dirksen, a shop doesn't charge you 2.5 or like 2 3/4. They'll go 2.5 or 3, they'll round. You got a point. But in this unit, just go by what is written here, okay? You just go by that. So it's 2 hours, and the safety check is $40. You should recognize that. The book value of the car, very important, is $10,000. And right away you ask yourself, which one is higher? It's the book value, right? So the book value will be part of your calculations in this particular case. So it says, calculate the total cost of parts and labor before taxes. Luego, page 17. So let's do a little bit of a, so 2 times $60 for the headlights, 4 brakes at 150 each. You got a new fuel pump, so I'll just go 120 here. This is 600, and the fuel pump I'll just add it right here. And you need 2 hours of labor, and it's $65 per hour. So I'm going to add this up, and I'm going to set my key ready here, and that should be $12.43. My key may have been a slightly off because I've changed the booklet over time, so you should still be able to fish and find that answer. That doesn't make sense. Why is there a 3? Am I on the wrong page here? I'm on the wrong page. 1,040. Sorry, you were worried already. What's going on, right? Anyways. 1,040, that makes sense, because there's no 3 at the end, so right away you realize something is wrong. So this is it, okay? This will be before taxes, okay? Or not including taxes or something like that. And then now it's asking the total cost to purchase the car after tax, okay? So this is where you're going to combine everything. And the formula, I'm not going to do this every time. Okay, this is a used private. That's the formula that you will be using. And it's purchase, right, plus purchase slash book times 0.07 plus safety times 1.05 if it's there, plus parts and labor if it's there. You tax at 12%. And if lien is mentioned, you would add that at the end, no taxes. I can see them doing a multiple choice, like which one of the following is not taxed? They'll do safety, parts and labor, lien, right? And you just know lien is not taxed in this province. Okay, purchase price is $9,500. Between the purchase and the book is the higher one. So I'll just make a note. Book is greater. If this had been 9,000, let's say, like they mentioned, just make sure you pay attention. If that's 9,000, right, which one is greater? The actual price you're paying. So this number is what you would put in here. And so the book value, some students are like, but it can't be. It has to be somewhere in my work. No. In that case, it just wouldn't make it into your calculation, but it still asks you to check, right? So we go times 0.07. Safety is $40. We add GST only, right? Just only 5%. That's what this is doing here. Parts and labor, we didn't add taxes yet. So I'm going to go 1,040 times 1.12, and there's no lien search. So this is kind of omitted. Now, what if the question had asked you, figure out the parts and labor after tax or plus tax? You would have taxed it here already. Just need you to make sure you're not double taxing. Okay, you're not going to bring this number in here and then go times 1.12 again. Okay, so you just have to understand these formulas. If you understand them, you'll be fine. Okay, 9,500. You do this separately. 10,000 times 0.07. That's 700 bucks. Plus 40 times 1.05 is 42. 1,040 times 1.12 is 1164.80. I would say always show your work one line at a time. If you make a mistake, it's just a half deduction if we know that something went wrong while you typed it in. If you add this all up, you get 11,406 times 0.80, and this is including taxes. So this includes all the applicable taxes. Obviously, it's not 12% right across the board. Sometimes 7, sometimes 5, sometimes no taxes. Right? Okay, total taxes paid after all repairs and the purchase. So how much did you pay in taxes in total? Here's my cheat for this, okay? Taxes, I just grabbed this calculation, which is 700, but I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna pretend like we didn't do the previous part. That's the PST. Then I will take the 40, but I'll just go times 0.05. Okay. Then I take the parts and labor bracket, 1,040 times 0.12. Okay. So I'm turning all the ones to zeros. Okay. Make sure you understand that. And the PST is already 0 to begin with, because you're not paying 10 grand, you're just paying taxes on the 10 grand, right? So that's why you have that. And now let's break this down. 700 plus 2 plus 124.80, this part. And the reason I added this line is because the province has done that in the past. And students a lot of students just did the whole thing. You still actually got quite a few marks for doing that because you showed your work, but not full marks. So I want you to be able to get full marks if possible. So here we go. This is it. Those are the taxes paid. All right. 18. I will already leave that up to you. There is a lien search on, if you go to 18. Some of you are still writing this down, so go ahead and copy this. 18 has a lien search, so you got to watch out for that. So I think I'm going to ask you to work a little bit. So 18, if you already, technically you should have done it by today, but if you didn't, I still want you to do 18. So we're going to go, for now, page 18, and then if you finish that, then I want you to go to page 20. Page 20 all the way to 22 has more. That's kind of like the worksheet. So for now, just take your time. I'll try to post these as well. So if I give you class time, use it wisely. Okay, use it. Because a lot of the feedback I sometimes get is like, I wish I had more time in class to do some work. This is the time, all right? Because later on I'll keep talking a little bit more. So 18 and 20 to 22 for now, okay? And I'll post that key. Because you are interesting. Everybody has a story, okay? Okay, one thing that I wanted to, sorry, so this is the part where I start interrupting you. So 20, page 20, I think, yeah. I made a mistake, and some of you brought it to my attention. I appreciate that. So I must have missed the labor here, and so it adds up to this, not whatever the answer key was saying. And then that's what I use here. I add taxes to it. You get 1832.88, and this number is correct. So this number, you should have been able to get to the final and see that you did this right, but you were probably a little confused as to what happened in between. All right, so good job. Before we move on to loans, I want you to come with me to page 23. And so page 23 kind of has a summary of advantages and disadvantages of buying a new vehicle. I'm going to skip that one because we talked about it already. It's on page, maybe I'll just ask you to write down the page number if you want it. It's on page 7. See page 7 for this section here, advantages and disadvantages of new. I'm going to just talk about used. And I'm not just saying these things to waste time, right? You need to know them. So let's go to 23. 23, bottom of 23. We'll just do a few advantages and disadvantages of buying used, okay? So, the most popular one that I hear and the province doesn't like is it's cheaper. I agree with you, but you have to tell us, how is it cheaper? Like, how so? So we'll say this. Some advantages of used is there's a lower depreciation cost. Okay. Most of the value has been lost up front, right? Somebody else that bought it brand new lost it, and so when you buy it used, you don't lose as much. That's why it's cheaper, right? You can say it that way. Another thing is, it is cheaper to insure. Okay, because it has a lower replacement value. One of the assignments that I'm going to give you is it has to do with car insurance. You have a hard time seeing that? Here, hold on. So you're going to talk about insurance there. You're going to ask a bunch of questions about your dream car. Okay. Another thing you can say is that options cost less. Okay. You don't pay the premium you would pay if you bought it brand new. Okay. So it's kind of like just in the car, so you don't pay as much for it. And this one is you only pay RST or PST, that's the 7%, if bought privately. You cannot just say you pay less taxes. You want to say you pay only RST if bought privately. I think there we have enough for advantages. Disadvantages. There's potential for hidden damages. Right? The previous owner may have had an accident. Maybe they didn't take it into the shop to repair. They just kind of duct taped it. Right? They just tried to fix it and didn't really do a good job. So now you don't know what's under the hood kind of thing, right? So that's a disadvantage. Not as safe. This would be obviously compared to a brand new one. Not as safe. Doesn't have latest safety features. Doesn't have latest safety features. Okay. Next, not as fuel efficient. And higher maintenance costs. Use the word higher, lower. Don't use no maintenance. Like when I buy brand new, don't say no maintenance. This is lower maintenance. So higher maintenance costs, no warranty. Usually out of warranty. Okay. Usually when you buy a brand new, a used car, it will no longer be under the warranty. So it's that. You know what? Advantages. I'm just gonna say you don't pay for shipping. Lower fees, right? So like no shipping charge. You don't no AC tax, right? You don't pay for that. So you can say that that's an advantage for sure. If you can think of other ones, feel free to use them. Okay, but these are important. These are easy marks. In my opinion, easy marks. So if the question will sometimes be like a sentence. Say why Mario should not be buying, or Mario's trying to convince his friend not to buy a used car. Why would you say that? Why would you say, what would you use to discourage? You pick one of these, right? Don't buy it because they're not as fuel efficient. And you're driving a lot. You like to drive a lot, so you're gonna spend more on gas, right? So these are just kind of like starters, like to get you going. And you have to kind of customize it to the scenario. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say here. And so these ones will help you answer questions like on page 22. There are some scenarios that I throw at you, and the key answers those. The key also has probably different ones here, and if you like some of those more than these ones, you go for it. Okay? I'm going to stop this here.